Yes, my name is Alex Bullerin, and I did this exercise. This is the second oral exercise and it's about the conflicts, relationship conflicts. Okay. Now I did this exercise with my wife as my actor, and it was very interesting to find out how much more we could learn on top of the definition that the textbook gave us. And we came up with the style that we use most often, and at the end I'll let you know exactly what we use. Because how we got through this is basically we channeled past arguments that we had in prior relationships, and it helped us push through the exercise. And it was very pleasing to know that we've had these past arguments, because it made it a little bit easier for us knowing that we've been through them before. Now the first style I'm going to talk about is the non-intimate aggressive relationship, and it's when you argue and you fight, but you never really get to the core of the issue at hand. So what we did, we basically acted out like I came home tired from a job that I hate, and I'm exhausted, and I come home and I see that the dishes aren't done. So basically, I come up to her and I tell her, I'm really tired that the dishes aren't done, and I just can't physically do this because my job is, I just came home from work. And I'm not upset at her, and I never let her know that it's the job that's actually causing me to be angry, but we just argue about the dishes and the house not being clean, but the dishes most importantly not being clean, and never really get to the underlying of why I'm really angry. And so that's how we acted that situation out. And the second exercise we did was about the non-intimate, non-aggressive style. So same situation. I come home tired from work, and the dishes aren't done, and she's nowhere to be around. So I text her and say, how come the dishes aren't done? And she texts me back and she says, some of the dishes are done because I cleaned the ones that I made, but I left the rest for you. And so I text her back. I was like, fine, if that's the way you're going to do it, then that's the way we're going to do it. And we just left it at that, and nothing gets done. And we barely even argue, but absolutely nothing gets accomplished, and everybody stays somewhat dormant about being mad at each other for either doing the dishes or not doing the dishes, or doing part of the dishes. And the third version of the styles of relationship conflicts is the intimate and aggressive style, which is like the roller coaster version of all four. And basically, it's the most volatile, but it works in some relationships depending on how people act. But basically, how we acted it out is, again, back to the dishes, is I come home and I got a whole pile of dishes in the sink, and I'm thirsty and want to get a drink, so I grab a cup and I pour water into it, a dirty cup anyway. And I pour a little bit of water into it, and I walk up to her, and I was like, so is this how you want me to drink my water? And I throw it at her face, and she gets upset at me. And as I turn and walk away, she grabs the cup, and, I turn around and I see her, hurling it at me. And so I have to duck, and then, the cup shatters and you hear it breaking, and she goes, yeah, so what are you going to do about it? And basically, I come up to her, I hold her really tight, and I tell her, yes, this is what I'm going to do. So, and I kiss her. I kiss her passionately, and that's how we basically act that one out. So it's basically, a big roller coaster ride of love, passion, and hate. And it's probably where that saying came from. I love that I hate you, and I hate that I love you, and that's how we dealt with that one. And the final one is the one how we actually fight. And it's the intimate, non-aggressive style. And the way we did this is basically, again, back to the dishes. I come home and I'm tired, but I see that she's also tired, and I ask her how come the dishes aren't done. And she tells me she's just tired of every day doing the dishes and cooking the food. And then I let her know, like, you know what, you're right. You do a lot of work around the house, and I need to help you out. And I tell her, well, every time you cook from now on, I'll go ahead and do the dishes. And if that helps you out, I'm totally okay with that. But in return, if during the weekends when I cook and I do things, you have to also do the dishes afterwards. And at the end, she agrees with me, and then we seal the deal with a little kiss and a hug, and we're good with that. And so, prior to all this stuff, when I read the definitions, I understood it. But after doing the exercises, it was a lot more clear to me what these styles actually mean, and how to work through things easier, especially when you know the definition. When you get into another fight with somebody who acts like this, or tends to do things differently, when opposed to how you and your spouse are normally argue. And and helping and knowing these people in the past that did these kind of things, I understand now why we're not really that good of friends anymore, because they were basically a little crazy, and that's just the way they fought, though, and I just didn't like the style, and that's probably why we're not friends anymore. And I felt the exercise was really good because it shed a lot of more light on my past relationship, and now I can understand when we fight like this, how we're fighting, and then be quicker getting through it, opposed to continuously battle when someone's upset. All right, that's it. Thank you so much. You have a good day.